What up YouTube, Topaz back for another review, and this one is to that XXX Leave, as we're going to call him XXX because I don't want to slaughter his name. But I'm going to give this project the red light, man, because clearly this wasn't any good, because XXX himself recognized it and decided to take it down, because this is a project that was off of his 2015 project, that Heartbreak Hotel. And he took it down specifically saying, okay, I'm taking this song down because it needs to be improved. And he never got back to it. You're getting the same version that he ultimately took down right now because a member of his old team found it on his laptop or whatever. And then he decided to raise $800 in this thing called Group Buy, I believe it's called. And he said if they reached this $800, he would release this song. And that's very touchy. You feel me? Like, I personally wouldn't have done that because, one, a true OG would say, okay, I got this music right here. I'm going to go ahead and give this to his family because they need it more than I do, clearly. But that's not what they did here. Secondly, only $800, fam? This is one of the few songs that XXX has left pretty much. And you gonna try to raise only $800 to get something, I guess? Now, maybe they already reached a deal with the family. I have no idea what's going on here behind the scenes. But yet, it kind of feels shady. You feel me? That, you know, you specifically said that you do not want this song out until it's better, and you never made the song any better, so therefore you should never be hearing this song if people followed by what he actually said. But yet nobody cares what a deceased rapper says or the longevity of that individual. Anything that people have of you when you die, they're going to try to release it, try to make as much money off of it as they can because they could just care less about your legacy. Now, why did XXX believe that this song wasn't as good? It's really unclear, to be real, because when you break it down, it's all but the same kinds of music that he has done throughout his career. Super brief of 2 minutes plus. And then it got the lo-fi sound to it, but yet it has an excellent concept as well. And that was the thing about XXX. His creativity and his concepts were top-notch, as well as his ability to go through a bunch of different genres of music. Like, these are the things that made him really good of an artist. It's just the execution of it has really been flawed throughout his entire career. But let's go ahead and break down this one right here, where he starts off this song saying, I found this sound in Stockholm, which that is a place, but yet in the context of the song, what he means is Stockholm Syndrome, in which that's the syndrome that people who have been kidnapped and held for ransom, that's when those individual people feel sorry for the kidnappers and want the best for them, as this is something that has happened and has become a clinical term. Now, how do I know he's referring to the Stockholm Syndrome? It's other bars that he's saying in here, like how I walk in my mind and I wander, but till death the infernal I will plunder. Now, these bars are ultimately him talking about how he's been kidnapped in his own mind. That's the Stockholm Syndrome that he's going through right here. He's stuck in his mind as he's wandering around it and thinking of a whole bunch of things that he's ultimately trapped with. Now, what are these ideas that he's stuck in his mind constantly thinking of? He says this also in the track, saying that her body is hidden, so you should envy. Actions covered in sin, but yet have never felt this alive. Pretty much these are the thoughts that he's going through, thinking of particular women. He's thinking of lusting and envy and all of this stuff that he's stuck with in his mind that he can't wrap his mind around. But he ends off the track saying, if you think that you're leaving, you're wrong. Your only choice is to die. So what he's pretty much saying is there's no escape from this being stuck in your mind throughout all of your life, being depressed on all of the flaws of things that you constantly have done and have thought about in your life. So the only way for him to leave and escape this whole mindset, this constant circle of depression, of being stuck in his mind, is to ultimately die. That's pretty much the whole story, the whole concept being had here. And he says a lot in so little. And that's what makes the concept really good, as many of us may be able to relate to that. I mean, I can always think back to times that I've done some things in the incorrect fashion, whether it's talking to women or dealing with my own issues or whatever it is, and I constantly think about it and I wish I would have done it in a different way. And sometimes I am rather hard on myself when I think of such, like I should have known that I shouldn't have gone in this direction. But my only issue with it is the execution, as that lo-fi production just isn't very good, as the whole lo-fi style that people swear by and all of that, it isn't very good to begin with. But to layer on top the delivery and the bad quality and all of this here, man, it definitely takes away from any potential of this, which explains, for me at least, why I would never put it on anything. But yet, seeing as though XXX has done songs like this in the past, and multiple of them, I really wonder why he decided not to include this on anything after the fact. But this concludes today's review, man, and let's go ahead and jump into some of the news that jumped off today, man. As speaking of XXX, he got a documentary coming. As you guys should have known, that this song was released and this documentary trailer was released 1 year after the fact that he's died, and time really does fly, doesn't it? But the trailer for his upcoming documentary, it actually looks pretty decent. And you know, I guess most individuals this day and age will be able to make a documentary on their life, because that's all that people are doing with social media and such. Like, if anything happens, you can all just draw to people's social media, to their cell phones, and all kinds of content that people have constantly been doing, and create a documentary around them. But clearly this was in the works while XXX was still alive, you did. Next, did you guys realize that Drake is finally off of Cash Money Records right now? Because when Drake released these two songs for the Raptors' victory and such, the one variation on Apple Music had Drake's independent label as the copyright holder, and then Spotify had Cash Money as the copyright owner, and everybody was questioning which one is which. And come to find out, it was Spotify that ended up changing everything, saying that now, yes, Drake is on his own independent label, as something that should have happened the first time around, when Drake was already one of the biggest acts on the planet and had the chance of going straight up independent. He should have took that then and made the maximum money that he could off of his own label. Even though his label isn't 100% independent, which it should, because he got the distribution through digital networks and people are going to listen to whatever he does regardless. He's ultimately giving up money by having a major record label back him, but it is what it is. This is a strategic move and he knows more than I do. But given this next story that I'm about to talk about, man, it makes that much more sense, because the next thing I want to talk about is how Drake tied the Beatles for #2 all time with 34 songs that hit the top 10 on the Hot 100 of the Billboard charts. And no matter if you like or dislike Drake or whatever, you got to respect this kind of success. This is greatest of all time type of success when it comes to money and influence in the music industry. Yes, there's a clear difference between that and making classic albums and being respected in the game. But you can't be mad at anybody who has delivered, quote unquote, this many hits, even though a lot of it was just, you know, a core audience fan base that would never let him down, that would be around maybe forever. Now, as we see it, as there's been many reasons for this fan base that he has built up to actually abandon him, but they are still sticking with him strong to this point. So there's no telling if he will ever fall off at this point. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpads.com, that's down there, to read today's article.